What's up, sixth grade? Today, we're doing something really exciting. We are taking our explain statements and pushing them to the next level. I'm so excited. Let's do it. We're going to stop using boring writing. We're going to avoid that. From this point forward, we're never going to use the words "this quote shows" ever again. I'm sure you're sick of writing it. I know I'm sick of reading it. Let's get better. Why are we doing this? Because "this quote shows" is simple language. We're looking for high school level words. We want to prove how smart we are through our writing. And if you're using proper punctuation, like quotation marks, your reader already knows that what you just wrote down is a quote. You don't have to tell us. You don't have to tell your reader. So, first step to being excellent writers with our explain statements is getting rid of that word "shows." Putting a high school level word in there instead. Shows is too simple. It gets repetitive if every paragraph you're saying "this quote shows." Instead, take one of these high school level words. Use that. So we've got illustrates, reveals, clarifies, displays, emphasizes, depicts, conveys, highlights, details, suggests, proves, affirms, indicate, exemplifies, and expresses, which jumped out of the box there. All right, let's practice doing this with an explain statement that I created. This has to do with our reading today. So, the explain statement is, "This quote shows that a theme of Out of the Dust is sympathy." Remember, sympathy is just like pity. So, how am I going to take that and turn it into a high school level explain statement? Let's see. First, I'm going to get rid of "shows." Get that out of there. Now, I'm going to replace it with one of those high school level words. So instead, we've got, "This quote reveals that a theme of Out of the Dust is sympathy." Already sounding much better. Many of you do that in your writing already. But let's all get there, using high school level words, not using the word "shows." All right, now it's your turn. Here are those high school level words. You've got them on your paper too. So your directions are to rewrite the 4 sentences that you have under part 1 using a word from the box instead of the word "shows." You've got to rewrite the whole sentence to practice getting that entire explain statement down with that high school level word. Do not skip this slide until you're done rewriting those 4 sentences. Go. Great job. Let's go to step 2. Boom. Step 2. Now, since we've replaced "shows," we're getting rid of "this quote." Because when you're saying "this quote," you're not bringing up anything new. We already know that it's a quote because of your quotation marks, like I said earlier. So instead, this is important. We're going to point out how that quote proves our point. Which part of that quote, what about that quote, proves your answer? Here's an example. So, this is the first sentence of the paragraph. The A. A theme of Markel's lunch is sharing. Markel's lunch, just a made-up story. So then, when I read this is something that I've already written. I'm thinking, okay, so what's a theme of Markel's lunch? I got sharing. Great. All right. Now I look back at my quote that I wrote down. The text states, "Markel was so happy that Cordell now had some food to eat that she was satisfied with only having half a sandwich." Okay, so I see there how that shows that the theme is sharing because Markel shared her sandwich with Cordell. But how am I going to write that down? What about this one quote makes it a great quote to prove that sharing is a theme? I'm looking at this quote and I see that Markel was so happy and she was satisfied. Both of those things are character feelings. They talk about the character's attitude. So I'm thinking to myself, what's this quote mainly about? And because of those words, I see, okay, this quote's mainly about character's attitude. Cool. So now I can move forward and write a great explain statement. Let's check it out. So my first explain statement is, "This quote shows that a theme of Markel's lunch is sharing." Boring writing. We're going to get rid of shows first. Put in a high school level word. So now we have this quote reveals that a theme of Markel's lunch is sharing, getting better. But now I'm going to push it to advanced level. Instead of saying this quote, I'm going to go back, what the quote is mainly about, the character's attitude, to explain. So now I have, instead of this quote, the character's attitude reveals that a theme of Markel's lunch is sharing. So now I'm proving why the quote I chose is an excellent quote, why it proves my point. All right, you're going to practice doing this same thing. I know it's new. Take it slowly. You've got this. Here are some possible replacements for this quote. The character's attitude, like we said earlier. The setting. So if your quote is describing the setting and that proves your theme or whatever you're trying to prove, then write the setting. The dialogue, the character speaking. The figurative language, any similes or metaphors in your quote. The flashback, if your quote is coming from the past. Or the tone of your quote, whether it be gloomy, joyful, anxious, or whatever. All of those things you can use to replace the words "this quote" in your explain statement. All right, now it's your turn. I'm so excited about this. Answer the 2 questions you've got, and then rewrite the explain sentence without using this quote shows. You're going to be doing this for 2 different examples that you see on part 2 on the back of your page. So, I'm going to give you the example once again. This is just what your paper looks like. So you've got the answer up there. A theme of Markel's lunch is sharing. So then it asks you, what is the theme of Markel's lunch? I write sharing. Then you have your your C, your evidence. The text states, Markel was so happy the Cordell had some food to eat that she was satisfied with only having half a sandwich. Then it asks you, what is the quote mainly about? So this one's mostly about Markel's attitude. So I wrote character's attitude. It could also be about the setting, if they're really describing what's happening around the character. Then, there's the explain statement. This quote shows that a theme of Markel's lunch is sharing. And I'm going to push that to the next level. I'm going to use my high school level word reveals. You can also use any of the ones in that box, illustrate, or any of them. And then, after you do that, you're going to bring down what the quote is mainly about and replace this quote with that. So I brought down character's attitude. Now I've got the character's attitude reveals that a theme of Markel's lunch is sharing. You're doing this for the 2 that you have there, which are Rondrell's Retribution and Frambrell's Folly. You're going to do that for both of those stories. I believe in you. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Don't skip this slide until you're done with both of those. You got this. Go. Great job, 6th grade. So excited to be pushing our writing to the next level. Have a good rest of the day.